Just a couple months ago when I drove the new Honda Passport in Puerto Rico, well, I was impressed with its capability on-road and off-road. But after living with it for a week, do I still find myself very impressed with the new Honda Passport? Or should you be looking like at a 4Runner, an Armada, a Land Cruiser, something with a true body-on-frame chassis? Or is a Honda Passport charming and unique and very capable in its own merit? Well, today we'll find out. Just one engine option on all trim levels. RTL, TrailSport, TrailSport Elite all have the 3.5 liter double overhead cam V6, 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque, made it to a 10-speed auto. IVTM4 all-wheel drive standard. In accurate terms, it's also called super handling all-wheel drive. It's a little bit easier to say that than IVTM4, where it can send 70% of the available torque to the rear wheels and 100% of that 70% to the outside tire, or the tire that needs that traction the most. I'm getting not the greatest fuel economy on this. Wait till our driving impressions. This is a Passport Trailsport Elite, which gives us the amber daytime running lights, which look absolutely amazing. We have the amber Trailsport badge. We have the very robust tow hooks, so robust that Honda hung 3 of these in series from a crane, which is quite incredible. We also have some of the industry's, in my opinion, from the factory, some of the industry's thickest skid plates down there at the bottom. And from here, I don't know if the camera's gonna show it, but these tires are wide. These are 275 with tires on 18-inch wheels. The normal TrailSport and the TrailSport Elite both have 18-inch wheels with all-terrain general grabber tires. The RTLs will give you 18-inch wheels as well, but the tires are all seasons, not quite as robust. I love the roof racks here. We have the glossed out door handles. I mean, the new Passport looks amazing. I love what they call the backpack design with this vertical rear boxy end. It looks kind of like a body on frame SUV, and I think that's what Honda was going for. But not only does it look the part from the front and the back, we can tow 5,000 pounds. Again, all-wheel drive, even standard on the RTL trim, Passport badge back here. Immense amounts of cargo. Again, with this backpack boxy design, we can fit a ton of stuff back here and still get nice camping amenities like AC power, click to walk away, so it doesn't shut down on my head. So if I'm grabbing things, general grabber, if I'm grabbing things back here, or playing with the accessories, because this, you can put a MOLLE system on both sides. You can even put a spare tire back here. Speaking of spare tire, you could put a full size one right here. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, there we go. There's our partial sized spare tire. So it's nice to have them. Look at that Easter egg back there with the mountains behind the tire. Pretty darn cool. Oh, it let me know that it canceled the walk-away function. Of course, you can fold down those rear seats, not from back here. You have to get inside that second row. Let's go ahead and close that rear hatch there. This TrailSport Elite does have window shades, which is pretty next level, pretty luxurious. Leather wrapped armrests, leather interior here on this TrailSport Elite. However, I'm kind of a sucker for that orange and gray cloth on the standard TrailSport, but that's just me. Not everyone's going to be that impressed by it. Look how flat that floor is. Amazing for loading things on your long trips off-road. Let's go ahead and close the door. Sounds not luxury, it sounds okay. It's not quite luxury. Mat pockets on each side, but not only that, we have a double-decker mat pocket on each side. Low climate control back here. What does that mean? We have tri-zone climate control, 2 for the front, 1 for the back. Heated outboard seats here on this TrailSport Elite. USB-Cs back here. Again, 150 watt accessory power. Now, I believe the TrailSport Elite comes with cloth mats. The standard TrailSport comes with these all-weather trays. Luckily, the one I have for review, the TrailSport Elite, was equipped with that rubber mat system. So let's go ahead and open up this panel roof. This is something I wouldn't need, honestly. I just keep it closed because it gets so hot here in the summer where I live in South Florida, all right? But there you go, there's that extra light in here. Lots of headroom. Do I have adjustable? No, it's just one level of reclining, and this seat does recline back pretty far. So I wish I could set it more upright, and that's a bit of a miss, but honestly, it's not like a deal breaker. Tons of headroom because I'm leaning so far back in here. Tons of leg room. I mean, look, a completely flat floor. that's almost like a battery electric vehicle. And surprising, even though this of course has all-wheel drive, you don't have a drivetrain hump in here. That's kind of mind-blowing. Let's get in the front seat. Oh, and I will say, we do have smart key access here in the TrailSport Elite on all 4 doors. Big fan of that. Same door treatment up here as we have in the back seat, but we have memory seats here. The seat over there, it is power, but it doesn't raise and lower. It just kind of does one of these things. All right, leather seats up here. You see the TrailSport lettering right here on the, it's kind of like stitched into the headrest, which is quite nice. All right, like the orange stitching here. These seats are pretty comfy. We'll talk more about when we start driving. 12-inch screen, Google built-in. It is standard here. Of course, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is wireless as well. The industry's best climate control system, or at least we'll talk about its faults here in a little bit, but when you interact with it, listen to the clicks. Absolute perfection. All right, it's just so easy to work with from all aspects, okay? It's all buttons, all knobs, all tactile, auditory with the click noise. Like, it's just so good. I can easily control the rear settings here. It's not confusing at all. Just lock the rear so the kids can't mess with it too much. Huge fan of this climate control, best in the industry. Wireless charging pad. Look at the topography mat here. Again, the TrailSport Elite mats back here, or should I say up here. We have this unique, I'm glad it's not glossy black around the cup holders. I don't know why they just couldn't have done that around the gear shift select as well. Orange plated drive mode select, which we have sport, normal, econ, snow, trail, sand, and tow. Well, we're going to be between normal and sport today. We're not taking this off-road. Watch my Puerto Rico driving impressions off-road if you want to play or see what this thing is like off-road. A little hidden compartment in there with a rubber mat with the topography, Bose sound system, auto-dimming rear view mirror. What else? Heated steering wheel with the TrailSport logo. I love this stitching. Man, look at this beautiful stitching, this crisscross pattern. It's absolutely perfect. This sort of stitching you often don't see in luxury cars that cost twice as much as this, so well done, Honda, with your leather wrapped steering wheel here. 10-inch screen back here is standard, and you can see I have this cool compass, forgot the word for a second, compass and an elevation map. Yep, 32 feet above sea level. That's about as high as it gets where I live. I know, we're really pushing the clouds at this level. So let's put her on the road. So A-pillar has some squeaks in it. The dash has a rattle that's probably not going to show up on the camera, but it's not there all the time. This is actually the first time I've noticed it driving it this week. Now I don't hear it at all. So maybe it's because I've been pounding the dash, so something's settled in there. I don't know. But I would say overall it does feel like a very solid vehicle. I mean, the stiffness and the firmness when you throw this in the turns is obviously evident for an off-road SUV. It feels great. It's really comfortable. It feels really wide. It feels like a bigger vehicle than it is, to be honest. I kind of had that same thing last week with a Honda product as well, which is the Acura ADX based off the HRV. All right, that vehicle wasn't that big, but it just felt big. It's so Honda does a good job with, I guess, the packaging to make it like feel big but not be big. I don't know, hopefully that makes sense. So we're gonna wait here for traffic to go by, then we'll do a quick 0 to 60. Let's put it into sport mode. No animations here. When you do get in the vehicle, I'll try to get this B-roll for you guys. When you do get in the vehicle, before starting it, it will give you a cool off-road animation with different locales on the 10-inch MID behind the steering wheel. Torque brake. Smooth engine, dear goodness. It is slow though. Felt pretty slow. 0 to 60 in 8.19. 8.19 seconds, 0 to 60. It feels slow. I mean, it's got big tires that it's trying to motivate. I guarantee the RTL would be noticeably quicker. 285 horsepower, can tow 5,000 pounds, and fuel economy. Well, if you idle this thing, your fuel economy is instantly in the tank. There is a start-stop engine feature to save fuel, but I haven't had it kick on once because I'm always running the AC, so it's not very intrusive. I appreciate that. Again, I could just turn it off, but that's just more nagging systems that I have to deal with. Other than that, this vehicle doesn't feel very nagging at all. Like, it feels real comfortable. Just plug and play. I'm in this. The software is real easy to use. I mean, I haven't even wanted to put in my Android Auto this week because I just have Google Maps built in. But once that subscription runs out, I think it's a 3-year subscription. I don't know. It changes manufacturer to manufacturer. I'll just use my phone. And if I was listening to a lot of music, I'd be using my phone a little bit more too. But it's good to have that functionality, and this is a backup, I guess you could say. All right, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour was 8.86 seconds. All right, let's put it back into normal mode here. Instantly dropped a gear or two so we get better fuel economy. Here's the issue I have with normal mode. All right, this thing isn't it feels like it doesn't have enough torque, which is crazy because it has good torque on paper, but a V6, you have to rev it to get to the best parts of the engine, all right? The peaky power at the top, a naturally aspirated V6, and also the torque just never feels adequate enough in this size of vehicle, especially with the size of tires you have on here. I put my foot down halfway and nothing much happens, okay? The transmission's pretty lazy in here too, okay? In sport mode, it's more like I want it to be. The inputs are more direct. I push halfway down and I feel like I get half of the engine performance. In normal mode, you have to go like almost all the way down with the pedal to get the engine performance. It feels like it's behind a paywall of economy. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I also have paddle shifters, which I haven't played with all week. All right, this 10-speed auto, it's not very fast here compared to like a Type S, TLX, or MDX. That has the sport performance version of this transmission. This 10-speed auto, it's good. It's really smooth. I have no issues with it. It's never given me any hiccups this week. Again, it's just that from the factory, the transmission is a bit laggy and a bit like, it feels like it's trying to get the best fuel economy as possible. And that's where a hybrid, if Honda had a hybrid, it would fix all of these kind of weird tuning issues that I have with this powertrain, that it feels like you have to work really hard with your foot to get all the power out of this engine and this transmission. All right, the brakes here though, as I come to a stop, I love the feel, the predictability of these brakes. They're fantastic. Honda typically knocks it out of the park with brake feel. And there's no, I mean, good. It says start stop is canceled because of the AC. All right. Anyways, the brake feel is amazing, but I want to go back to the AC. AC is fine under most circumstances. AC is fine. But if this car, this Passport, has been sitting out in the hot summer sun, it doesn't cool down worth it very well. I'll just say that. Like, my 15-year-old minivan, it's not quite 15, my 13-year-old minivan cools down about as well as this thing does after both of them been sitting out in the sun. So I've had that issue with other Hondas in the past, like their Pilot, for example. Their Pilot AC, the Acura RDX AC, not very good. And I have a feeling here it's the same sort of issue. Right now, I just leave it on low all the time, the very coldest, and then I adjust fan speed as needed, which is really easy to do, of course, because I love this climate control system. Comfort in here. I think these seats are really comfortable. Cassie sat in them and she's like, you just kind of feel like you're sitting on top of them. So they're not the softest seats, they're definitely on the firmer end. And they're not gonna like hug you, or you're not gonna feel like you're sinking into a couch or a sofa or anything. All right, let's go up to like kind of like interstate speeds real quick. Engine sounds good, but you really have to bury your foot. And very quiet. No annoying wind buffeting. Wow, it's actually like, I'm going 65 and it is super quiet. Like, I'm not getting road noise either. And I know the TrailSport Elite, not the base TrailSport, the TrailSport Elite, to my understanding, has additional sound deadening in the carpet. So you have a little bit better NVH here than you do in the standard TrailSport. So keep that in mind. If you're driving a lot on the highway, you might want to get the TrailSport Elite because you're going to have better NVH. I don't remember. I do have acoustic glass windows up front here as well, which, guys, it feels like a luxury car at speed. It's very smooth, very quiet, great visibility. The windows are big in here, big and chunky. Like, it's amazing how tall these windows are. Yeah, the brakes are so good on here. Anyways, this vehicle is great to handle. Should I just do a U-turn so you guys have an idea of, like, I don't know, it's hard to express my feelings of handling here. I know it's U-turn, but we'll just do it anyways. Oh yeah. It sounds so good, but it's so slow. Oh man. It doesn't sound quite as good as the Odysseys, because the Odyssey you get to like 5,000, 5,500 RPM, and the VTEC noticeably kicks in because it has a different single overhead cam engine. All right, you don't hear any VTEC kicking in here on this engine. So it doesn't sound as good. It doesn't have as much performance character as the Odyssey. The Odyssey feels way faster than this. The Odyssey, oh, that's the thing. I love the Odyssey so much. I would take an Odyssey. If you're a family person and you're thinking Odyssey or Passport, Odyssey or Pilot, Odyssey is by far and away better than the SUVs from Honda, in my opinion. Fuel economy on all of them is going to be about 19, 20 miles per gallon. The luxury on the Odyssey is the best. The handling on the Odyssey is the best. It just doesn't have the cool looks. Like, the Pilot looks pretty cool, but like this Passport, it's all about that street cred. The amber lights, the cool tow hooks. I do have a 360 camera here. It handles well, but the Odyssey handles better. The Odyssey feels like a sedan. It's crazy. I love the Odyssey. I can rave about that vehicle all day long. And so the thing is like, I compare this to the Odyssey and I'm like, ooh, yeah, I think I'd rather be in an Odyssey. The problem with the Odyssey, it's just like, I know it doesn't appeal to a lot of moms out there or dads because it just looks so unassuming. I don't mind that. Sometimes I don't want to be looked at when I have a vehicle full of kids. But it doesn't have all-wheel drive. And this has robust all-wheel drive. And so this is, it's like apples versus oranges a bit. But if you're doing 99% street driving, the Odyssey is a better vehicle than this, and it's better than the Pilot. All right, would I take this over the Pilot? Absolutely. The Pilot to me is just so vanilla. All right, I reviewed it, I think at the very beginning of this year. The Pilot is just so vanilla. I enjoy being in this vehicle more. I like having the shelf here above the Passport lettering that I can rest my finger on. This screen isn't in the bigger Pilot. The bigger Pilot has a smaller screen. You can't get this bigger 12-inch screen. It's just crazy. So from ergonomics, from a tech perspective, from an aesthetic perspective, this is better than a Pilot. All right, if you need 3 rows of seats in an SUV, that's what the Pilot's for, but just get an Odyssey. It's way better. Anyways, I rest my case. Let's head back. It's like, listen to that Harley fly by. Let's get back to the office, see if there are any deals in my area. What kind of vehicles are we going to compare this to? And put it on the spreadsheet to see where it stacks up against the competition of all the vehicles I've reviewed this year. Is it just a solid buy? Is it an S tier buy? Is it one of the best vehicles out there, or is it just a good buy? Let's get into the office. Looking at Honda Passports in my area, remember, just 3 trim levels. The RTL, we are starting to see some price drops. Check this out. I mean, this is the best deal I can find. MSRP at $46K, and we have about a $3,500 price drop on the RTL. The RTLs, if we look at like the trim levels, right? EXL was the previous generation. So RTL, there's 42. Quite a few RTL blackouts with the towing package too. And then you have even more TrailSports and TrailSport Elites. So the RTL is actually the lowest in stock. And TrailSport and TrailSport Elite are quite easy to find compared to this trim level. If I had to sum it up, I think the TrailSport is a good buy around $50,000. Once you get past $50,000, it starts running into some stiff competition. And even the Passport RTL, I think, is a good model. I haven't driven one, but with the smaller tires, you might be able to eke out slightly better fuel economy. And when I mean slightly smaller tires, they're not quite as wide as the all-terrain tires. These are all-season tires. So if you don't plan hardly ever going off-road, the RTL is a great buy. Again, just the daytime running lights aren't that cool amber that you have on the TrailSport model. The Passport is fantastic looking. It's a great car to drive. It's very enjoyable. However, there's competition for it. All right. Once you start getting over $50,000, I know this is a rear wheel drive Armada, but if it's in the same ballpark of pricing, I'm taking an Armada. I know it's bigger, it's not the same class, but the Armada twin turbo V6 body on frame, the Nissan Patrol here is one of my favorite vehicles on the market. All right. So look at this. Look at this beautiful SV for $56K. And again, TrailSport Elite, we're well over $50,000, $53K. I know it's a beautiful truck, but I pick an Armada over it. What about, guys, the 4Runner? Well, the 4Runner is also an amazing buy. I enjoy driving the 4Runner more than the Passport, but I know a lot of people out there like, they would not want to touch the turbo 4-cylinder. And that's like, hey, V6, people love that V6 life, the natural aspiration, the bigger engine. But I'm telling you, like from a driver's perspective, this is more fun to drive, more enjoyable, way more peppy. All right, that V6 is kind of sleepy unless you're in sport mode on the TrailSport Passport. It's just really, it seems like it's really held back for emissions reasons unless you bury your foot into it. Okay, the 4Runner is always ready to party. And it's just a much more lively, more enjoyable, and more rewarding vehicle to drive, in my opinion. But I know the 4-cylinder is not for everyone, and it's far more cramped in the second row. And if you need a third row, you can still get in the SR5. Another vehicle, the Land Cruiser 1958. This is purely aesthetic. This would be an aesthetic buy. I really don't like the Land Cruiser all that much. I like the 4Runner more than the Land Cruiser, how it drives. It's far more rewarding. The Land Cruiser, with its 4x4x4 and its hybrid-only powertrain, and that hybrid, in my testing, is never executed as well as Toyota can execute on a hybrid powertrain, nowhere close, all right? If you compare the hybrid in this compared to the LX 700H, it's a night and day difference in terms of execution and refinement. And the Land Cruiser's Turbo 4 hybrid is not very refined in that vehicle. All right. But man, is it badass. Look at this. Look at this right here. I love how the Land Cruiser looks. I just wish it had the twin turbo V6 that the GX had in it. That would make it an easier buy, in my opinion. All right. So where are we at on the spreadsheet? All right. How do we rank the Passport Trailsport Elite? All right. Well, like I said, I don't think the TrailSport Elite is the greatest buy out there on the market. It's just when you get over $50,000, like I said, there's you can get an Armada. You can get for less than 50K, 45K, an SR5 4Runner. All right. So there's just a lot of competition from body on frame once you get that expensive. But the RTL, I think, is a fantastic buy. I think the base TrailSport is a fantastic buy. I think it's an A category. I think Honda's done a great job with this. It's held back by fuel. Fuel economy is really poor here. And with it being a Honda, we know that a hybrid's coming for it. Okay, probably 2027, 2028. And once the hybrid comes for this, hopefully they don't charge an arm and leg for it, it could easily boost it into S tier. Okay, that's just my opinion. I'll see what you guys have to say in the comments. I think it's an A-tier vehicle. It's up there with the MDX. I think so in terms of execution. It's a really good car. Just needs better fuel economy. Really, that's the biggest thing I have to say. And it is a little bit too expensive. So maybe I should put that in here too. Okay, a bit pricey for what it is, because you start comparing it to body on frame vehicles and it can still hold its own. All right, especially with road manners, it's comfortable, it's fun to drive, especially in sport mode. What do you think? I'll see you guys in the comments. It's up there, guys. It's a really solid vehicle. It feels like it's well built. It looks amazing. And after testing it off-road in Puerto Rico, I know what it's capable of. Honda's done a really good job without having body on frame. The only thing that can make the Passport better is if Honda and like Nissan work together for a new Xterra and Passport body on frame in the years to come. All right, so that's really the only thing that I feel like could make this vehicle better is if Honda and Nissan work together on an Xterra/Passport. And the Passport could become body on frame once again like it used to be with the Isuzu. So anyways, shutting it down. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Stay tuned for more Honda reviews. Peace.